Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. Let's play some Starsector. In the previous episode, we discovered that supplies are very expensive where we are, and I think I talked about going up to Corvus and visiting Jangala and seeing if we can find any luck there with getting some of the supplies that we need, and otherwise continuing to expand our fleet. I think our biggest issue right now is we're in the period of the game where you need to kind of build up your strength. We're still fairly weak. We're seeing some of these bounties come in. I think we're going to maybe start taking advantage of some of those. It's pretty good money. I like to get to about 1 million credits before I start trying to really build a colony. Feels like, well, colonies are expensive, first of all. Building the infrastructure on them starts in the 150K range and goes up from there, first of all. Second of all, you have to be able to defend yourself to get out there in a lot of cases. And so we'll just kind of want to, I hate to use the word grind, but that's kind of what it is. We're grinding along to get a little bit more cash, get a little bit stronger fleet, and figure it out from there. So what I have found works best for me is trading here early on. Again, I will probably start to pick up some of the missions that are being offered, the bounties and the explorations. But at first, I like to kind of stay in the core worlds and just do the trading sort of stuff. So here we are at Jangala, and supplies are much more reasonable here. We are going to load up. I like to have, now our fleet only uses a few supplies a day, which is fantastic. I would say usually at least 500 supplies is where I would want to be at this rate. You want to have about 200 days in my mind. That's not something that's a hard and fast number. It's just where I kind of aim. We're going to go ahead and confirm this. We do have a beta core. It wouldn't be the worst thing to turn that in. It earns you some credit with the authorities. It bumps up your reputation. And frankly, it's worth 30,000. And you can get a little more for it with some of the other factions. I'm going to focus on Hegemony right now. I'm going to also try to say it that way every time and not Hegemony or any of those other ways that I have slaughtered it in the last couple of episodes. Let's go over to the open market, and we just did this purchase on the black market, and our suspicion level is very high, so I want to try to mitigate that. I'm going to go ahead and sell all of that stuff, confirm that. We're going to go ahead and buy a little more supply, maybe 300 more. And yes, we are spending money, but you have to have supply, and this is a good rate. Well, okay, at 300, it went up considerably, but it's not out of the question. That's not an absurd amount. Okay, that's too much fuel. We don't need nearly that much. Let's go with that. There we go. We're fueled up for a good period of time now, and it didn't impact our black market standing at all. That's disappointing. I'd hoped it would have impacted it some. We do not have access to the Hegemony military. One of the things I want to maybe do is see if they will take us on, if we can get certified with them. Now that means we fight their wars. If they go to war with someone, we're at war with them. The good news is that when the war ends, your standing with that organization goes back to basically what it was before, plus or minus any pirating, ops you disrupt on behalf of that faction, things like that. So it's just an inconvenience for a period of time. What I see is that Hegemony goes to war with the Persians quite a bit, and Persians are one of the bigger partners you're going to want to trade with. Those tend to be the two largest factions, and you're kind of cutting out half of the worlds that you can trade with when you're at war with them. So that's just some factors to consider. Obviously, we want to get this guy up to speed. And do I have all my ships named? I don't. Let's go ahead and get these updated as well. So we'll come up here to Modron. I don't mind keeping that name. I keep telling myself I'm going to come up with a system to name my carriers and my destroyers and my cruisers and my battleships and my frigates, and I don't end up doing it. What I do end up doing is giving them TMS so that in a battle, I know that it was my ship that got blown up versus another one. Let's call this the Manticore. Manticore, right? I think that's right. And we can go ahead and check its, there's no offers for auto fitting for it. So that's fine. We'll go with this. And just to make sure I had updated weapon groups, it looks like I had. We got that one. Here's the Ionian Regent. It is a destroyer. So I often will name my destroyers with world capitals, I guess, is the best way to look at it. So this might be the TMS London, for instance. And yeah, the rest of them have names. Well, we do have the Brandenburg, which is a frigate. So maybe I had started doing that differently. Maybe these were, yes, I think I normally actually name these after D-named cities like Denver or Dover, that kind of thing. D for destroyer, right? And that makes some sense to me. The other thing I could do is give them, a designation, DDG, DDA, whatever, light attack destroyer. It does often tell you that when you float over it, but there are places where you only see a name, and that could be confusing. Okay, so this is a frigate. We're going to go with world city names. I know Brandenburg's not a capital. Let's go with the TMS. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm thinking of all D names is what's going through my mind. Let's call this one the Bonn, another German city. And we do need to upgrade this one in some fashion. There we go. Mining lasers. Those will probably get replaced when we get somewhere that has something a little bit stronger than mining lasers. But for now, that'll get the job done. And weapons groups confirm. We're good to go. We now have that ship added, and I like to put the frigates, the phase frigates I tend to put after the regular frigates, but I use them more. It's probably backwards for how that's a combat freighter though. Put them ahead of those. There we go. All right, and then, yeah, I tend to like my ships most powerful to least powerful, so that when I'm deploying them, it's a little easier to go through the list and find what I really feel like I need. Okay. Take a look on the open market. Well, that would be a great purchase, but I don't think it makes sense for us right now. Lots and lots of D-mods. Nothing else that jumps out as must-have. If we look at the black market, a lot of times you can get a really good deal on the black market. And one thing that I've never been quite clear on is a lot of times they have no D-mods. You'll notice half these ships, more than half these ships have no D-mods. In fact, only 2 of them do have D-mods. 4. Okay, 4 of them. Yeah, just something to consider, but we're already suspicious to everybody, and I'm not sure I want to spend that cash just yet. So we're going to back off of that. I do want to come out here. We're going to go to the comm directory. There is an officer available for hire. Let's take a look at him. Basically, we ask him what he can do. He has ordnance experience, or expertise rather, 1.5 flux dissipation per ordnance point spent on weapons. So that's helpful. It's a kind of a multiplier in a sense. I don't have a problem with that particular skill. He's level 1, but he's timid. That would be the reason I probably don't want him is... I'm going to pass on him. I prefer them to be at the least, I think, is steady or in the middle of the road. And I tend to lean towards aggressive because what I see in the battles is my ships almost have the job done and then they pull back. And I'd rather them finish it off and then take a longer break than give the opponent time to rally. And that is just the way I kind of view that. So we're going to come out here. The other thing I want to do is... I am going to go ahead and turn in that core. We will find lots and lots of cores. We don't need to hang on to this one. So I'd like to turn in these AI cores. Select the one to turn in. There we go. And you will see we'll get $30,000 and 4 points of reputation. So we're up to 17. I don't know if that's enough for us to be commissioned, but we're going to try. So I'm going to talk to the officer here. I'd like to talk about being commissioned. Fleet Intelligence has been watching you for some time, it seems, and they say that you clear the checks. So it sounds like they're willing to take me on. And it tells you a little bit about accepting the commission, you'll be required to fight enemies of the hegemony and assist in upholding law and order, meaning you're going to do a lot of anti-pirating. I must inform you that you have the right to resign your commission at any time, and while there have been honorable circumstances for resignation in the past between us, let me add that doing so would be considered highly suspicious by fleet intelligence. Yeah, I haven't seen where that's been a downside, really. I tend to have very good relations with the hegemony, so I'm okay in accepting that long-term risk. Eventually, I'll probably switch to another faction to build up reputation with them, etc., and that's okay. I haven't seen a huge downside in that. What you do end up with is you switch over the Persians, and then they immediately go to war, and now all your friends that were in the hegemony aren't going to talk to you until the war's over. And I am going to accept the commission at $40,000 monthly. This does seem to increase over time, and I like that. But we can use the cash injection, help us pay for ships, help us pay for supplies, things like that. But because they're at war right now with the Persians, we lost 39 reputation with the Persians. Or I'm sorry, yeah, reduced by 39. So we were at minus 11, we're at minus 50. When the war ends with them, we will go back up to the minus 11 or thereabouts. And cut comlink. Okay, that worked out okay. And then finally shuttle down to the surface. The concourse is in chaos. Ludic protesters. Ludic protesters. There's a shrine here, and this starts the shrine series of missions. I don't mind taking that on. I'm not sure I want to talk through it right now. What I'm going to do is wait for the authorities to clear the protest and wait and continue. And then I'm going to take a shuttle down to the shrine, and this kind of kicks off that series of missions. Basically, there's 6 shrines you can go and visit, and once you complete that, you've completed the mission. I've actually never done that. I just don't focus on it, but I do pick them off as I visit the planets that have them. So I'm going to look up the long-term effects of the spores. So effectively, there's like this toxic cloud that they like to walk around in or something. I don't know. It's detox meds for accidental exposure are readily available. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. That's enough. Shut it off. Enter the shrine complex, and then you're going to talk to an acolyte or somebody like that. Complex is kept overpressurized, so if there were a breach, there would be plenty of time to find the seal and the leak. Okay, so we're going to visit the shrine, and yes, of course, I can show you to the washing station where we ask that all pilgrim or no partake in a simple cleansing before visiting the interior shrine. The attendant starts to shuffle you along into a group of devotees. One of the options is you can go look at the outside, the real shrine. I don't know that I've done that. Let's give it a try. Okay, are you sure of this? The desire with full knowledge of what exposure to Jangala entails. So Jangala is the planet, of course, and it is a toxic planet. The attendant brings your attention to a row of pamphlets in a tasteful wooden stand displaying what at a glance appeared to be a selection of truly unholy skin conditions. All right, on second thought, show me the interior shrine. I think I'm going to do that. I don't know. I'm chickening out. So we'll talk to them about the shrine, and then they'll come back. And we've visited the Ludic shrine on Jangala. Return to the reception hall. I'm already familiar with your religion. I'd like to learn more about the path. I suppose if you wanted to, you could become a cultist and maybe become a terrorist. I don't know. The Ludic path is kind of a terrorist organization, the way they kind of set it up in this game. The Ludic church is friendly to you, but there's also the extremists, which are the pathers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm familiar with your religion. I was simply curious about the shrine. Politely pretend I will join the novice in prayer. And then I just wanted to see the shrine. Eventually they let you go. Tell me about this place. I am just visiting. How many shrines are there? I think there's 6, and they're on different planets. There was or possibly is a shrine on Keela. It is a dangerous place, however, to say nothing of the system's infestation of pirates. Just something to kind of mentally note, I guess. You can say, I would like to visit the shrines. And that's what kicks off the the mission, the series, the story for it. He needs help with his PDA, and you help him with it. You show him how he needs to look something up, and then he gives you information on where the shrines are, and it kicks off that particular mission. So primarily flying through this so that we don't have 15 minutes of reading in this particular episode. I read pretty slowly, and I have read through it before, so a lot of that is from memory, but there you have it. Say your goodbyes and leave. That's what we want to do. We want to go back and get into doing our trading. So we can still go look at the dockside bar. That part is over. And the tattooed mercs, I'm not interested in picking up their contract, so I'm going to leave them alone. We do want to see trade goods. We did take a look. We did purchase some of what we need, but I am seeing that there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of organics, and they can be bought cheapish. There's food that can be bought cheapish. And so let's see where we might be able to take that. So if we buy the organics, we can triple their price in a Persian world that we are now at war with. So we can't do that. We could get a 70% bump if we took them to Kanta's Den. That is one we could do, but I think we'll hold off on that. Let's look at the food. Food prices, not a bump there. That's going to be a dramatic loss because we are paying more than 15 cents per unit after taxes. We could go and buy them off the black market, but that's not enough of a profit anywhere right now. Sometimes food will go up to like 40, so you can make a good living moving food around if you wanted to. Domestic goods, we could sell those for double at Garnier, which is here in system. Well, gee, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. I'm going to go to the black market first. Domestic goods, we'll buy all we can there and confirm, and then we'll come to the open market and do the same. All we can and confirm. And we're still very suspicious to them, but they'll get over it. They'll get over it. Well, that's weird. No, it's not. I mislooked at that. Okay. Yeah. Luxury goods are kind of high right now, and they're not in demand anywhere. So let's head over to the other planet here, or base, I guess. Well, it looks like it's a world as well. We'll go to the station. Once we get close, we'll turn off our transponder so the pirates will ignore us. I think we're one of them. We're probably getting close enough now that I can do that. And trade goods. Always go to the black market when you're with the pirates because there's no reason not to, except paying extra money that you don't have to pay. And wow, those are a lot higher than it said they were going to be, isn't it? Yeah, it said 102. They're actually willing to buy at least some of them for 134. We're selling all of it and making a hefty profit. That is something I should point out. When you look at these charts, you'll notice that it says price per thousand. So the idea is if you were to buy them at 1,000 units each, this is what the average price of all of them would be. This is how much you're paying for them. As you move up or down from that, those prices can go up or down depending on which way you're going and if you're buying or selling. And it has to do with the either supply or the demand is what it comes down to. So just to make that a little bit more clear, then we can look at some of these other things. And yeah, I don't think we're not making a killing at any of these. These are not badly priced, but yeah, let's see about doing a bounty. Saw some bounties come through that looked like we could approach them. Here's one. It's for the Ludic Church. There's only 9 days remaining. We're not doing that one. I thought I saw another 40. Yeah. Where's this one at? And we need to turn on fuel. Plenty of fuel to get there. So this is one that we would be doing for, it looks like for the Persians because they're attacking Westernis. But there's plenty of time to do it. It's a pirate base though. We'd literally have to take down the whole base. We're going to hold off on that. Personal bounties are ones that I can probably handle right now. Here's another one. That one is well within range. It's another pirate base. How come I'm seeing that? Personal bounty. Is that the one I meant to click? Maybe it is. Yeah, let's look at that one. Okay, same area. Pretty close. So here's the guy that they want taken out. Here is his fleet according to their intelligence. That is a fleet we can take. So I think we'll go ahead and give this one a try. We're going to come up here. Looks like he is, it tells us he's rumored to be hiding out near a cryovolcanic world in a system with a dwarf primary star in the Hadreel Nebula. Well, here's the Hadreel Nebula. Is this that is a dwarf primary star. Red dwarf, white dwarf, so it could be here as well. Red dwarf. There are a few places he could be hiding out here. If we're being honest, that's another red dwarf. So we could have a challenge in tracking down where he actually is. But he should be close to this area. There's only 9 days, though. We're not going to make it in time. That's why I didn't want to look at that one. All right. The one with the most time is this one. Where is that? Same area. Little bit stronger fleet, but I think we could still take it. And, okay, I'm not convinced. Yeah, I am looking at the wrong spot, aren't I? There we go. They're up here. Okay, she's rumored to be hiding near a barren world in a system with a giant primary star in terror. Okay. That's a giant. Dwarf. Giant. 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 So 4 places they could be, but it's kind of indicating maybe here we could do that. If nothing else, we can do some exploration. I can buy a few more supplies and make sure we have the necessary equipment, and we'll pick up a little bit of cash doing that as well. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna click here. We're gonna take on that mission. Little bit of punching a little above our weight, but I think it'll work out. Let's grab any additional fuel that we can. We're on the black market now. There we go. We'll grab supplies. You need supplies when you do exploration missions, so that's why we want to do that. And we definitely are going to need more machinery, and they don't have any machinery here. We can go back and get some from the other place. And then we also want to make sure we have plenty of crew. Crew is reasonably priced here, but it would be better to get it off the black market. 60 should do. I think that's a good number for now. Well, no, we'll make it an even 100. 100 more crew. There we go. And then we're going to go and see about getting some... Go here first. Getting some heavy equipment. That is the other thing that we need. We need crew, we need supplies, and we need equipment. So that will be helpful. Let's get that transponder on. Almost forgot. Beat them to it so they're not bothering us. Oh, nope, they are bothering us. We have to come out here and let them scan us and leave. Okay, now we can go in happily, go trade. We'll go ahead and take all of that. They don't have any. So we are going to have to buy some off the black market. I'm going to go ahead and grab all 23. I'm hoping that's enough for what we're going to want to do. And then we are going to go find where that bounty was again. This is the one in Terror, right? Yep, Terror primary star. Let's give it a go. Nope. This one. Okay, wish us luck. We do have, I mean, we're a little lightweight here. Something to consider. I probably should save the game just to be safe. In fact, I'm going to do that. F5 does a quick save for you, just in case I'm really misjudging what should happen here. I don't like scum saving like that, but we're early enough on that I might just be miscalculating, right? So there we go. And moving right along, new things here that we could probably do as well. Some analysis, 120 days. A lot of these tend to be way, way out though, and that always makes me a little nervous. And trying to avoid the majority of the clouds here. But we're moving right along. Here we go. I think that's our destination. Jump in, and a lot of times we'll find who we're looking for quickly. They'll show up somewhere. So this is probably a derelict hammerhead. Well, this is one of the ways we grow our fleet. Looks like it's in really good shape, actually. Or yeah, let's take a look at the chief engineers. Yeah, no D-mods. I think we want to go ahead and spend the story point on this. We won't be able to use it right now. But because it'll need to be refitted, right? And I think, where was she hiding out? Although we see there's a sensor contact here. I don't want to get too close to the sun because you start to really burn supply. Yeah, that's going to be too close. 28. A coronal hypershunt. I haven't really figured out what my intentions are supposed to be with those. So something to maybe look at later. And let's take a peek at where it said she was hiding out. Bounties. Only 11 days remaining. I really hope we're in the right system. A barren world in a system with a giant. Yeah, there is no barren world in this one, is there? That's volcanic, and that is irradiated. So, not this system. So let's go to the next giant in terror. That's going to be this one. Time is not on our side for this, so thought about maybe using the hyper jump. Didn't do it. It uses a lot of supply. Let's see what we find here. Lots of planets, so we're going to pause here real quick. We're looking for barren. None of those are barren. None of those are barren. Way over here. This is where she's going to be. Okay. I think our best bet is to jump back out, hit this point to come in, and then hit it. I think this is where she'll probably end up being, because that is a red giant as well. So we're going to unpause, jump to hyperspace. And we're going to spitball it. We'll hit that one. Boink. And these are probably remnants, and they are dormant, so that's okay. And is this our barren world? It is. So we're going to head over here. And good chance... Nope, we don't see her. All right, well, let's just go ahead and perform a survey, though. So for the survey, you have to have 200 crew. We have 510. You don't expend these. We have to have 400 machinery. We're fine there. And we will spend 50 supplies doing the survey. So that's something to consider. Here we go. This particular one, ultra-rich ore deposits, sparse rare ore deposits, and it's considered a class 2. There's a little bit more information here. Its hazard rating is 200. Its accessibility is 43. To make a long story short, you want the hazard rating to be as low as possible and the accessibility to be as high as possible. This wouldn't be an out-of-the-question planet to potentially colonize, but there will be much, much better planets to work with in our future. So we're just going to leave. And I'm really disappointed that we didn't find the pirate. I really thought this is where they would be. There is one more star system that we could go to. I think we're going to run out of time, though. I don't think we'll get there fast enough. We probably could take on those remnants, but there isn't a whole lot of upside to that, except you can get AI cores. And we probably wanted to go to this one, if you ask me. Well, no, that'll work. finally, pause. Barren world right here. It'd be great if that's the one. Another one, bombarded, toxic. That's like desert, jungle. So, okay, here we go. The little luck, we'll pick the right one. There it is. This is the fleet we're looking for. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So we will click on it. We'll blow right through the planet. We can open a comm link, but they're basically going to tell us prepare to die. We're just going to move in and engage. Transfer the command. Nope. And we're going to activate as much hardware as possible. Everything but that, honestly. Yeah, we're going to need firepower for this one. So there we go. I don't have a great strategy for how I split up my ships when I'm doing this. I tend to go to contact and then I find this is probably the leader. And so I'll take some of my stronger ships and have them target the leader. And that is going to be these guys. And we'll come up here and just right click on him and you'll see they will go after him to eliminate. I will probably task these guys to take that one out as it has a commander, and we'll task these guys to take that one out. And let's see what happens. I probably would prefer that he go after the main guy too, but we'll see what happens here. They're coming in. Yeah, I want to be closer to that battle. So I'm going to pick this guy, go over there. There we go. Now it won't happen instantly. It'll take some time to kind of head over in that direction, although this is a pretty tightly quartered battle, so in pretty good shape there. And we do have the option to do like full assault. That makes everybody pretty aggressive. Not always the worst thing. I think for now, I'm really wanting to figure out where our strengths are. Don't have the fleet I really want for something like this just yet, but we'll get there. Notice we've taken out 3 of their ships because now 4, none of them start with TMS. That's why I name them the way I do. All right. This is the guy we have to kill, though, to earn the bounty, so it's pretty powerful. I think at this point, though, we have eliminated enough of them. We are going to go with full assault. Let's get everybody going completely bonkers on them. Not aware of a way to speed up the battles. Something to know about Starsector. And as I have talked about before, I prefer to do it more as a strategic battle. I'm not good at the twitch and driving them and turning and keeping my shields in the right order and paying attention to which guns are actually firing. So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage there. And there we go. We took him out. Easy as 55,000 credits we're going to earn today, that's for sure. I think that's what we're going to make. Okay, so we held this in reserve. We destroyed everybody in their fleet. That's good. And we lost nobody. If we had lost somebody, it would tell us there are ships from our fleet that are available for recovery. So that's important to know. When it doesn't show up, if you don't have interest in collecting any of the ships that you took out, and I'm really not sure I do, there's a lot of demods on the ones that I would want. Now, that one's not horrible, I guess. So we will consider ship recovery. And yeah, we could take this one. It only would have 2 demods. We can probably work with that. We'll pick him up, recover him, and then otherwise we're going to work through the credit, the wreckage. Now we got 1,800 credits just from what we've already kind of encountered. And then we're going to collect this out of salvage basically. And then when we hit this, it's going to tell us that we completed the mission. Boom, right there. So we got 57,000 from the Persians, including a +3 bump. And then the Hegemony, because it's kind of a pirate in that, we received 3,300. So we made 60,000 credits there. The other thing we can do is come over to this debris field, and then we can salvage from that. And there's probably, well, actually 86% is pretty strong. We're going to go ahead and do that. I almost always do it regardless of the percentage. Nice. That's not nothing. That's pretty darn good. Take it all if we can hold it, and it looks like we can. We got plenty of room. There we go. Okay, I'm going to pause things and take a quick peek at what we accomplished so far. And I would say that this is a good place to stop, and we will pick up at the next episode, deciding what to do, maybe return back. We could also explore a few more of these before we do that. And I think that might be what we aim for in the next episode. I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey with Starsector. It's a heck of a fun game. Not available on Steam. You do have to go out and find it from the developer. But I do recommend the game in general. It's so much fun. There you have it. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, fair travels.